A Labrador met a boy with Down syndrome who didn't want to play with anyone. But the Labrador did something amazing. The boy was a bit unsure about the dog, but the Labrador really wanted to be friends with him. It was a bit hard, and the boy's mom felt sorry for the dog and didn't know what to do. Anna and her husband were already parents to two lovely daughters when they learned they were going to have a baby boy. They were really happy, and their girls were excited about having a little brother. Anna and her husband were overjoyed when they found out the baby's gender and couldn't wait to share the news with their daughters. But then something changed in the room during the ultrasound appointment. The nurse said she needed to speak to the doctor and didn't explain what she saw or if there was a problem. This made the parents feel anxious. The nurse left, and the doctor returned to check more ultrasound measurements and results. They found something worrisome. The baby had too much fluid at the back of his neck, which could be a sign of Down syndrome. They did more tests, and all of them indicated that the baby did indeed have Down syndrome. It was a scary thought at first. Not only would the baby, whom they named Herman, face more challenges in life than their daughters, but there were bigger things that worried them. The doctors explained that babies with Down syndrome could face a lot of complications. Around half of the babies that are born with Down syndrome are born with heart defects that need to be repaired soon after birth. Other problems could include blood disorders, including leukemia, which is a cancer of the blood, and issues with their immune systems. Despite the worrisome news, they believed that they could adapt to a child with Down syndrome, and they knew they would love him. Because they already did, but they were just hoping that they wouldn't have to face a baby that was seriously sick. Anna went into labor a lot earlier than her due date, and that too scared her. How would they fix their premature baby's heart if he needed it? The moment he was born, they took him away to be checked. Anna couldn't help but cry. She didn't even have a chance to hold her son, and she was really worried. But soon they could bring her some wonderful news. His heart seemed to be healthy, and they couldn't find any other complications that needed to be treated right away. They would have to check for certain things later in life, but he didn't seem to have any complications from Down syndrome. They breathed a sigh of relief. However, his lungs weren't super strong yet, and he needed to stay in the hospital a little longer. By the time they brought him home, his sisters couldn't wait to meet him. He was small and a lot more slippery and floppy than they were used to, but everyone just figured out how to take extra care of the newborn. Anna and her husband did a lot of research and met with a lot of specialists, and they knew what to expect as Herman got older. They understood the challenges he could face with reaching milestones, and they believed they were prepared. But often, children can hit us with challenges that we can't prepare for, and this was the same with Herman. Even as a young baby, he didn't like to be held for too long. When his sisters tried to hug him or give him a lot of love and attention, he would pull away and cry. As he aged, he didn't like anyone touching him, not even his family or his mom. When he got injured while playing, Anna's first instinct was to pick him up and cuddle him, but that only made him cry even more. He would pull away and flee from contact. Some of the older family members didn't understand why the boy wouldn't hug them, and it often seemed like he looked sad when he was surrounded by people. It wasn't fun for him, and they had no idea how to build his confidence. They tried to take him to a kindergarten, but playing with other children was not fun for him either. It made him withdraw even more, and he was frightened. His parents didn't know what they could do to help him. They were desperate for him to have a friend who could be his happy place and bring him comfort. They were sad to see how he wouldn't interact with the world, and they were afraid it would make for a very lonely life. One of the doctors advised them to get Herman a dog. He might be willing to open up to a dog more than he was willing to open up to another human. They researched the types of dogs that were great with kids, and they decided to get a Labrador. Their daughters loved Himalaya, the lab, from the moment she came home to them. She loved playing and running around with the girls in the yard. But as soon as she got close to Herman, he would withdraw and try to get away from her. Himalaya tried to get him to play, but she didn't push too hard. She would bring him one of her balls, and when it looked like he was about to start crying, she ran off and played with the other kids. The Labrador was a wonderful addition to their family, and she was great with their daughters, but it didn't look like their plan was working at all. The dog and the boy didn't seem to have any sort of bond. It was just one more thing that he couldn't have a part in, and it was sad. His parents believed they had made a mistake. They should have taken Herman to a shelter and checked if he connected to any of the dogs there. They considered rehoming Himalaya for a moment, but that wouldn't be fair to their daughters or the dog, who had become a part of their family. Instead, they decided to wait a few years to get a second dog for Herman. Maybe if he was older, he would bond with the dog easier, but they were all out of plans on how to help him now. So they decided to just make life easier for him in difficult situations, and the next difficult situation was going to arrive very soon. Herman was 5 at that stage, and most of his family knew that he didn't like physical contact. They normally respected that and gave him the space he needed, but he also hated loud noises, and when they had family gatherings, they couldn't really avoid that. For a while, Anna and her husband stayed away from these events, but they couldn't keep changing everything in their lives. It wasn't fair to their daughters. For their next family gathering, they made sure to set up a quiet space on a patio where Herman could go to chill and relax. They even had a security camera set up in the area so that Anna could check on him without disturbing the boy. The next gathering arrived, and it quickly got loud. Some of the children asked Herman to play, but he wasn't interested. He just shook his head and played on his own with one of the balls. But it wasn't long before Anna could see that he was getting overwhelmed. She was very proud of him when he retreated into the small patio on the other side of the house. He was learning what he needed, but she was shocked when she checked the camera. The Labrador dog knew that the boy, Herman, didn't want to play with anyone, but what the dog did next was truly amazing. It seems like she understood that Herman felt uncomfortable. Himalaya followed him to the patio and sat quietly in front of him. Then she gently placed her paw on his shoulder. Herman pushed her paw away, but he didn't mind when she put her paws on his feet. He even allowed her to rest her head on his feet. Himalaya was giving Herman the choice to leave if he wanted, but he stayed calm. She sat beside him, and he was okay with her being close and touching him. This was an incredible moment that made Herman's mom, Anna, cry with joy as she watched. The whole family was amazed. After that, Himalaya and Herman became friends. Although he didn't play with her like his sisters did, when he felt overwhelmed, the dog had a comforting effect on him. It was a very special and heartwarming moment, and they were lucky to capture it on video. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.